Welcome into the Power Hour, hour number 2 this week. Double the love, double the excitement, double the great guests. And our second hour, you guys are in for a treat tonight. We have the legendary Backwoods Brown. Brother, how you doing, man?
Wow, legendary. That is a first. Oh, boy.
Hey, you're talking to the commentator that nearly blew an artery when you guys exploded that door at GPW. So I'm glad I lived to see you. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, man, that was a fun one, huh?
Unlike anything I've seen before, those kids will never be the same. This show is happening.
Yeah, I don't think my back will ever be the same.
God, that was an incredible sound, incredible moment. I'll never forget it. We'll talk about that. This is the show that C.Red demanded. C.Red said, get Backwoods on this show. And that's all I really needed to hear. So we called Backwoods up after Jay Cross and said, hey, let's do it Tuesday. And here we are, 1 week removed from the Jay Cross interview. It's Backwoods Brown. C.Red, the floor is yours.
Man, what is there to say? Me and Backwoods go back, God, since he's
way
back. So, I mean, it was on.
Yeah, brother.
You know, we had one half of the Hellbellies on here, you know, and I had to show my brother some love, you know, again.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that.
You know, it's, you know, first of all, you know, we ain't seen each other forever, you know, so, you know.
Yeah, it's been a million years, dude.
You know, so, well, you know, since we both got, you know, endeavored by that company.
That's not my fault. I swear to God.
That's how we want to put it.
With it.
Yeah. We're going to be politically correct.
I didn't realize somebody could get future endeavored for having a baby, but you know, such is life, right?
I didn't know you could be future endeavored working in a whole nother state, but you know, it is what it is, bro.
It's no sweat off my back, man. On the bigger and better things,
man. So I know the story. Of course, Steve doesn't. So tell the people, man, that's watching this, man, and that's listening, you know, tell them about where Backwoods Brown came from, how he started, you know. I know.
Origin story.
The origin story. Wow.
You got bit by a radioactive spider.
Said,
you got injected by
I wish.
How'd you start?
I wish I was bitten by a radioactive spider. You know, I'd have robbed at least one bank before I became a good guy. just saying, got to set myself up for a good life.
Yeah, no doubt.
Man, I've known Red since 06, 07 when I broke in. I was 19. I don't know if Red will remember this. The first time I met Red and Marche was at the old Windy City studio over there on Avenue O, because I was looking to break into the business. So my mom, you know, after I talked her into it, drove me over there to go check out the school, and it just so happened to be Red, Marche were there running practice, and you know, spoke with them. And the very first piece of advice I ever got in the wrestling business, and I tell all the guys this today. They both told me the first thing you want to do before you step in the ring is buy a pair of boots. So that was what I did before I even signed up to start training. Was I went home and I bought a pair of wrestling boots, and I still wear those same boots all these years later. I'm still on the same pair of custom-made boots to fit my clodhoppers, my fat calves, and my cankles. So they have held up pretty well. So I met him then, was there for a hot second. And then when Vanguard started, that's where, I got the bulk of, and then pretty much all my trainings from Vanguard. Big shout outs to Isaiah Velasquez and Hunter Payne and Austin Roberts. Those guys really helped get me going. And Frankie Valiant, you know, when Frank was running practices, and, you know, when Virgil would be there helping. But the Wednesday night class was a a very interesting group because it was all the young guys that wanted to do all the cool indie stuff. So those practices were always fun because it was, you know, myself, Isaiah Velasquez, Jordan Pride, Kalisto when he was on the indies as Samurai del Sol. And those were the practices where whatever you wanted to do or whatever you wanted to learn how to do, you got to do it because there were no limitations, no regulations. It wasn't so much about the drills and the repetition. It was about being creative and just learning and being able not to be to express yourself. And it was in that, you know, those practices, the very first like web show that Vanguard did ended up being the host. Originally supposed to be Isaiah at the time, but he was the mid-card champ. Feeling it, he wasn't in his own. They tried to do it maybe 5-6 times because at that point it all had to be done in one take. So I was always very comfortable speaking and being in character. So they're like, well, Backwoods, you got your gear. Why don't you do it? So I think the video's still online. I nailed it all in one take. It was like a year-end review show where we went over, you know, all the events that had happened and the champions that were crowned. And it was in that moment, like I felt the most comfortable. Because I had gotten to the point where in the practices I was used a lot of times as a practice dummy because I could pick everything up real quick. So like when Mitch Blake or one of those guys would come in, it was Backwoods, show them how to do it. So, and at the time I was a lot smaller, man. I was like 280, 290, but I'm in there taking, you know, proper hip tosses and flip bumps and all that kind of stuff. And it was there, like I really developed my relationship with like Red and those guys, because when Red and, you know, Willie and Trauma and Marche and Diamond all came to Vanguard full time, you know, I think they all saw something in me and kind of just put their arms around me and brought me into the fold. And it was one of those things that at the time, it was really cool, but then you think about it in hindsight years later, it really helped shape my mindset and help give me that little extra nudge. Like, well, if these guys are hanging around with him, you know, all these guys have been champions, maybe he's halfway decent.
Halfway decent. Oh, okay.
Okay. Hey, yeah, maybe this kid he ain't the drizzling shits, you know. He's all right.
That's my favorite part of these shows is hearing Red talk about his beginnings and to know that you were such an active part of when he was in his heyday and you were a rookie. And the fact that you learned to buy wrestling boots from C.Red, it just substantiates all these claims that I have been unable to prove over the year with the Power Hour, because he tells all these grand stories. I don't know if he's lying or telling the truth, but you just corroborated all the stories about being a pivotal member of the wrestling community once upon a time. So
first of all, I used to sell wrestling boots. Okay. I was a distributor for pro wrestling.
You didn't have nothing that fit me?
No, bro. I know I didn't now. But it's funny because the practice that he came to, that was one of the few practices me and Marche ran. And it wasn't that we couldn't, just our regular trainer wasn't there that night. And it's funny because you know, I'm the last person that's gonna get you to do something that you ain't comfortable with. You know, Marche was more of the, you know, let's get it down right. You know, I was more about
yeah.
I wanted to see if guys really had heart. So
yeah.
But for Backwoods to come in, and he is a huge presence when he comes into a room. So to know, oh, okay. And it's funny because that's how life works, is that So there was a big exodus from Windy City. We'll just put it like that. And it spawned Vanguard, VWAA. And so when we got the opportunity and we were asked to come over there, we jumped on it. And here's Backwoods. And it's like, I felt good that here's a kid that didn't give up on his dreams. Yeah, he didn't sign with us at Windy City. But he kept with it and he found some place he could be comfortable. And you could see that again, when you see people, you kind of know if they have what it takes to make it or not. So to see him again, but now he's got a character. He's living the gimmick, baby. It was like a great feeling, you know, and he'll never tell you his first outside booking was against me.
Oh,
He had to do the job that night. And what now? Which
wait,
now he
wait,
owns.
let me just wait. Hold on.
Here we go.
Hold on, Steve. I'm gonna tell you this. Red and I have wrestled a bunch of times, and there was like a year straight. Time we wrestled, the finish always involved me getting the low blow. For a year straight,
That sounds
every
like
time
Red.
we got in the ring,
He's a real
I
ball
was getting a
buster,
low
that's
blow.
for sure.
Man, whether it was a singles, tag, triple threat, battle royal, I'm getting hit in the nuts by C.Red.
That's what the C stands for, collector.
You know, after a while, I thought it was a rib.
Oh, you can't put a price tag on that kind of humor right there, folks. I'm telling you.
Hey, but what am I supposed to do? You see how big he is? And you see how small I
am? It's true.
Nothing I was gonna do was gonna equal. No, you bring him down to your size. Cut him down.
See, Red is the only person in the Soul Touches VIP family that has beat me every time we've been in the ring. I didn't beat everybody else. Willie, Trauma, Marche, Jazz. But every time I was in the ring with Red, I was looking up at the lights.
That's because Red is the ultimate opportunist and will cheat to win around every corner. You can't turn your back on him, or he'll dig you in and take you down. I've been there. I've done that. I've watched him tap dance on my grave at the end of our season last year.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah, we know.
Just saying.
That's the motto of the ARC. Now, Backwoods, as a solo performer, I mean, I've known you as a great tag team wrestler, one of the best actually. But now you know that you're the GLC.
I appreciate that.
You're the GLC champion and you're frontline pro, and now you're the shot caller. Talk to us a little bit about that shift in character, because you went from tag team expert, and now you're the shot caller.
Well, first of all, Steve, I am the GLCW, Great Lakes Championship Wrestling.
I misplaced the W.
Heavyweight champion. I've been champion for over a year for GLCW.
365 plus.
So, and a side story. I've had other championships and stuff like that and other accolades. That the GLCW title, it holds a real special place in my heart. Dave Hero is a great guy, great promoter. Dave's one of those people that's worked with any and everybody in the wrestling business, has more connections than you can count. And when he came to me and said that, you know, we're going to run with you as champion, it was a big thing, because I don't, you know, a lot of people might not know this. I am the only independent wrestler that has never been under contract with Impact, WWE, or TV anywhere to be GLCW champion. Wow. And else that's held that title, you know, is Mick Foley, Al Snow, Rockstar Spud, Robbie E, those guys. And you know, I might be incorrect on this, but I think I am. And I think I'm the only African-American heavyweight champion. I actually beat Home become GLCW heavyweight champion. So having that title, it's a real big thing, just because every year, you know, GLCW holds Blizzard Brawl at a big convention center, and it's, you know, always 3,000 people plus. And the fact that Dave has had enough confidence in me and my abilities as a performer for me to hold the title, and you know, even though COVID is happened and everything, but for me to be champion for over a year, yeah, that's you know, that's something, you know, I take to heart.
Well, that's impressive. You look across the last year that we've been dealing with COVID, and it's almost a year ago to the day where everything stopped and everything shut down. Last March, we had a show at CSW March 13th, and after that, everything closed down. By the time Monday hit that weekend, every wrestling show around here had to cancel what they were doing because, you know, everybody was told to go to lockdown. So the fact that you were a champion during the pandemic, that is going to have a special ring to it going forward, because the obstacles that you've had to overcome in that calendar year, outside, social distancing, no fans. I mean, it's been tough for any wrestling company. We ran a few shows last year, but they were difficult because there were a lot of things to overcome and a lot of obstacles. And the fact that you've been a title holder during the pandemic, you rep the company at one of its most difficult moments. So I'm sure Dave Hero values you as the champion to carry the brand during what was the toughest year wrestling has ever seen.
I hope so. I mean, I go out there no matter what company, but, you know, especially GLCW, just because that the place we wrestle at every month has a very, very special feel and vibe to it. It's almost reminiscent of the ECW bingo hall, because, you know, those fans are loyal and they're there every month, and, you know, they're invested. And you know, to be there and to be the guy, quote unquote, it's a big deal. I mean, I can't tell you how many guys that since I've had that title have come to me and said, you know, I don't know how you did it, man. You know, I've worked for Dave for years, and I've never even come close to sniffing that belt, and you got it, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, your work speaks for itself. Like I said, I have seen you, and I knew you as a tremendous tag team performer. You know, when the Hellbillies were involved in the shows that I did, they were the most popular team, the most popular guys in the building that night, most over with the fans, to be sure. And you guys would come out and the place would go bananas. And even that night we were talking about in the open, where you were in a singles competition against Tommy Maddox of The Rage, you know, it was still one of those moments that people were looking to on the card. And, you know, so that's what I remember the Hellbillies. And, you know, it's nice to hear rumblings that maybe you and Brother Jay might be getting the band back together. I'm not putting you on the spot here, but Jay kind of maybe gave us a little hint of something last week. You want to speak on maybe the resurgence of one of the most popular tag teams in Chicagoland wrestling ever?
Yeah, man. That it is definitely something that is in the works, and it will happen before the end of 2021. We're going to get the band back together, and just us as a tag team, it was so random and coincidental how even we got together. It was 2012, and we were both working for Doug Simmons over at Fusion, and you know, we had never met each other before at that point, and we both had single matches that night. And at the end of the night, you know, Doug comes up to me and says, hey, Backwoods, because I mean, I've known Doug since 2006, 2007 also. This guy, Jay Cross, he came up to me and said, he'd like to put us together as a tag team, just because he was like, he came to me and said, we have similar gimmicks and I think it would work. So after that night, just random circumstances, we became a tag team. Originally, we weren't the Hellbillies. I think our team name at the time was Team Big Country or something like that, something real generic. But from that point, we had developed a bond and a friendship. And then once again, how crazy the world is. We both stopped working for Fusion for a while, and he was working for Rock and Randy at PPW, and I came in at PPW, and even though we hadn't been working together anymore, we still maintained a friendship and we talked on a regular basis. And he was over there tagging with EJ Jensen, who was Cousin Eddie at the time, and they were doing a tag team thing. And when I came over, it was like, oh man, okay, what if we do a 3-man team, Freebird style? And that's where the Hellbillies it originated. And just through time, the three of us kind of split apart, and Jay and I continued the Hellbillies name, and we kind of ran with it and made something out of it. And he and EJ still tag together. We call ourselves the SOBs as a threesome. Jay and I have talked, and we kind of look at more so of the Hellbillies as Jay and I, because we've established that more as a twosome. But EJ is still part of the family. We just all had instant chemistry right away. You can see it in real good factions and tag teams where Jay and I can be in the ring, and without even speaking, we're thinking the same thing. We have the same mindset and same mentality.
It's fun when relationships in the ring and with companies develop and become something greater than the business itself. And you and Jay not only are great in the ring together, but you're good friends in the real life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's one of my best friends in the whole world, man. I was the first groomsman he asked to be in his wedding. So he's been to my house my old house a million times. I've been to his, and it's family. I have a great relationship with his dad. We we had that tag team match, which was awesome, and I was honored to be a part of. And hell, Jay and I have only had 2 or 3 singles matches, but they've been matches to write home about.
Those are the kind of stories that I love, and that's why I love having Red on this show, because it's the passion with which you guys talk about your history that makes for great stories. And that's why we do these things, because we want people to know that the stories behind what's going on in the ring make it that much more interesting and enriching. And I love the banter back and forth. Red, did the ARC or any of your factions tussle with the Hellbillies at any point?
Oh no, nope, we ain't crazy.
They didn't want the smoke, Steve. They didn't want the smoke.
We ain't crazy.
They didn't want that smoke.
Besides, he already told you what's gonna happen. Low blow, baby. Low
not
blow.
Nowadays.
Low
not
blow.
Nowadays.
Hey,
no,
it still works. You saw what happened to Strongman. It works.
We gotta talk to Bullard and try to get Backwoods to unite with Jay up at CCW.
Bring them on.
We have the ARC and the Hellbillies.
We ain't signing that contract.
I'm managing against you. I'm gonna keep you on your toes that night. With the Hellbillies, you ain't low blowing anybody.
It's funny you talk about stories, Steve. Red and I have a million stories we could tell, because for the longest time before our lives got crazy and separated, I used to see Red 3-4 times a week. We'd be just hanging out, shooting shit, as much as possible. Red was the first person to get me bookings outside of Illinois. And Red, I don't know if you remember this story. Red used to run a fed called Bible Pro Wrestling, where we wrestled out stories of the Bible. So and they were always like outdoor shows and stuff. Yeah. It was
God, that's great. I want to see that.
It was a fun time. It was one weekend we had a double shot, and it was the same day. We did one show out in Indiana, and then we had to do a block club party in the city. And worked the first show, everything went great. We go do the second show at the block club. It's hot as balls outside. Like, it is so hot. I'm in like the second match, and I was wrestling Gordon Rage, and I'm like, all right, we'll have a fun match, you know, easy peasy, nothing too hard. And from the minute the bell rang, that match went down the fucking toilet. It went down the toilet so fast. The bell rings, and Gordon comes in and gives me a forearm and collapses. And I look at him, I'm like, what in the hell is going on? So I go to get him and go pick him up. He's like, I blew my knee out. You hit me.
Oh my God.
How'd you blow your knee out? So we're trying to carry on in a match. And in my head, I'm like, man, this match fucking sucks. Like, it's just fucking terrible. And at one point in the middle of the match, I take a bump because I was waiting for, you know, Acid Jazz was coming out to do a run-in, and he was going to blast me with the belt. So I take a bump, and I'm laying there on the cell, and it's like dead quiet. And I shit you not, this little girl says so clearly and so crisp, he ain't got no drawers on. Because I was laying there on the cell with my legs open, and I had my singlet on. And I was like, if Jazz does not come out here and end this fucking match right now, I'm just roll out the ring and walk to the back.
Oh, no drawers. Well, that does not work so well for Bible Pro Wrestling, I'd imagine. You need to keep drawers on.
It does not.
There are many Bible stories.
Many Bible stories.
One of my favorite stories. So we were working for a promotion on the north side. So it was me and Backwoods. Again, I picked him up. Or he met me there, one or two, but it was me, him, Trauma, and Marche.
Oh my God.
So we're thinking that they're gonna book us against their guys. So we take a look at the locker room, and we're like, we don't like any. When I say there, so I say there were 20 people, right? So we're 4. So you take away us, that leaves 16. And there's about 3 other people. Rest in peace, Tim Norton. He's one of them.
Yep.
So there's 3 people. So you take them 3 away. So that leaves about what? 12, 13, something like that. Steve, you just swore. No, they are not wrestlers. No.
Nope.
So the promoter says, you know, you guys can work whoever you want to work. We gonna work each other. How about that?
Oh no.
So it was me and Marche.
Here comes the nut shot.
No, hold on. No nut. Was it a nut shot that
There
night?
was a nut shot, yes.
Oh, okay.
They were all nut shots. The man said they were all nut shots. You're undefeated in nut shots.
But here's the part that hurt my feelings, Steve.
Not as much as his nuts.
This hurt worse.
I don't agree with you.
This hurts worse. So we call out the match. We go out there. We're putting on the match of the night. Or match of the afternoon, I should say. And you know Marche. Marche is the high fly. So Marche hits the ropes, Undertaker dive, bam.
We take out the first 2 rows of fans.
Cleared them.
My favorite.
But now I'm feeling froggish.
Oh no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I'm hyping myself up. Now I've never done it.
Come on.
I hit the ropes. I'm getting ready to go.
Oh, dear God in heaven.
All 3 of these idiots break kayfabe and say, stop.
Oh!
My feelings were crushed. And I wasn't gonna do Marche and do the taker dive. I was gonna dive between the ropes.
They didn't want you to die.
They didn't want no part of me diving. And I was so hurt.
None. And we're sitting there, we're watching Red get ready to hit the ropes, and we're the three of us are having a conversation like, is he about to do a dive? You know, he ain't about to do a dive. This fool is about to do a dive. Like, oh no, stop. No, no. Mm-mm.
But the fun is when you can wrestle with your friends. And every time, and again, nut shots and all.
Like the Nutcracker, for Christ's sake.
You know,
poor Backwoods. That's not right. He did. You ought to be able to take. He should give you a shot in the nuts right now.
You got to run. You got to catch me.
In the same match he's talking about, he gave me and Trauma so much shit because we're putting a match together, and I don't know how it worked out this way. Red took about 12 splashes from me and Trauma, like avalanches in the corner, splashes on the ground, double splashes. Like, it got to the point where Marche is on the ring apron, like, I know they're not about to splash him again. Like, we splashed the shit out of Red that night.
They made me hurt. I mean, like, my inside shifted. You know, your heart is supposed to be over here. My heart was over here. You know, intestines was wrapped around. You know, it was like, oh my God. You know, but like I said, the best times I've ever had in the ring are when I'm in there with my friends. One, because you can have fun.
Yep,
you
absolutely.
can have fun, and I was never worried about my safety, ever. I knew they would protect me. And here's the crazy part, like, Backwoods always has this thing, and this is how the nut shot originated.
The origin of the nut shot.
Backwoods, there was a time where I wasn't, I'm not going to say I wasn't athletic. I just didn't trust myself. So I wasn't jumping for nobody.
Nobody.
So he gets me up and he's like, suplex. Who you think you're jumping for a suplex? Not me. No. I went down to one knee. Nope. Not gonna happen. Which I still do to this day, but that's because of these. So, which I have to stop very soon. But when you're in there with your friends, like, again, it's a different ball game. Promoters can book whoever, but the best time, and I mean, Steve, you've seen matches. If you ever watched, the best matches, me personally, are when I'm in there with Jazz, I'm in there with Marche, I'm in there with Willie. I can be in there with when I know I can be in there with my friends, it's totally different versus somebody like a Sean Danger or a Bryce Benjamin.
Don't even speak his name. I don't want to hear his name.
I can. Oh, you don't like him either? Oh, okay.
Wait, who?
Fans piss, for Christ's sake.
Sean Danger.
Who is that?
He weighs about 60 pounds.
You just answered the question.
Okay.
I put it like this. He would fit y'all group very nicely, except for he drinks more than y'all do. So
I don't know. We hold high work rate standards in the group.
Well, trust me. He can probably. That's probably all he can do. But you have fun. And, you know, we all go out there to have fun. We all go out there to show our talent and have fun. But if you ever want to see a bunch of fools act the fool, you put all us in the match, it's pretty much over with. Because I don't think we're going to really call much. We're not trying to figure out nothing. We just need, promoter, what do you need for a finish? That's it.
That's it.
And when you can get Marche cracking jokes during the middle of a match, you know, you can go chop Backwoods and you can hear his response. and his response is not what you would expect. He's him cracking a joke right back. You know, again, there have been ample number of times we've all traveled, and those are the times that I miss the most. It's not even the shows; it's the getting to and coming back from the
Yep.
show. You know,
The car rides. I learned so much in those car rides. You know, just being the young guy and just sitting back and listening. And you know, you could learn in most training sessions. You know, that's where you learn the most, is just by being on the road and listening. And just like Red said, some of the fun and the stories you have. Like the one time me, you, Trauma, and Willie were on the road down to Decatur, and the truck the expressway, and I'm in the back seat trying to hold the suitcases and flying out of the truck.
first of all, as much as I love Jay, Jay was the worst passenger ever on any trip, because as soon as Jay was like your child, Steve. Remember when you first got your child and you put your child in the car seat and you start the car and you haven't even got out the back, you haven't even got out the lot and your child asleep?
Yep.
That was Trauma. Literally put the key in the top, put it in drive, and you haven't even went 5 feet.
And then to top it off, he would always pull the same stunt. You drive to the show, I drive back. But we're leaving the show. Oh man, I can't drive at night. I don't have my glasses. Wait, I gotta drive both ways?
Or he's the first one to get in the car and it's not in the driver's seat.
Nope.
He getting in the back seat. Like,
yep.
But I thought you would.
No, you got it, bro.
Like, dude, okay. But I just want to say Backwoods that, dude, don't act like, you know, the time that we haven't been together, I haven't paid attention. I've noticed everything. Again, I've never stopped following you, never stop looking over your shoulder. First of all, tell Dave Hero, hey, what's up? Can the brother come work?
Look us all. We'll do commentary.
You know,
I got you.
I'm just saying, can the brother come get some work? But dude, you have done things, and that's what makes me so proud, is that this dude, you know, obstacle after obstacle has been thrown in front of Backwoods, professionally and personally. And this dude doesn't stop. You know, that's one of the reasons why I love him. You know, I've been around long enough. And I told you from that day he walked in, you can feel something, you know, about a guy. Here's the crazy part. Yeah, everybody can look at Marche, and even old pictures of Marche,
skinny Marche,
you know, when he was that big, you know, but you knew he had it. Backwoods, see, and I'm trying not to call you by your shoot name. I swear I am. I swear I am. When he walked in, it wasn't necessarily it. It was the fact that I could feel his heart for this business. And then the crazy part is we would, like he said, I would come over and we would chop it up like on a Sunday afternoon and just sit back, you know, drink a little something and talk. And he was so knowledgeable about wrestling, like stuff in Japan, like, and he can rattle off names properly. You know why I'm saying the dude, you know, the dude with the little funny haircut and because I couldn't pronounce names and he just be able to give you names and events, and he impressed me so much to show me, dude really wants to be in this business. And it's like, you know, you don't see that. You know, he studied. Most cats most of these kids now, if they studying, they studying what? They still studying what's on Monday nights and what's on Wednesday nights.
Yep.
You know, they don't dig into archives and try to find older footage. You know, they don't even grasp the concept of what psychology is, of why you're doing what you're doing.
What you're doing. Yep.
So you can get there.
Man.
You know, so for Backwoods to have already had that down, it was just now putting his character in there, and he did it. So to watch things, it's funny. He asked me one day, I don't know if you remember, he was like, all right, so what do I do when I shoot a promo? Dude, just talk. Stay in character and talk. And it was like, over years, you have seen the growth. Like, he cut a promo one day, and it's funny because I had to ask him, like, dude, where did you do that at? He was like, oh, in the backwoods of my house. I was like, oh, okay. Because I swore he was down in some swamp somewhere. And he made it so passionate. And it was like, I'm sitting there holding my phone like, damn, I want to buy a ticket to this damn show. And it's rare that I feel that with other people's promos. It's rare. Now, our last guest, Ewok, yeah, he does that. He you know, but Backwoods is one of those that now, if he has something to say, I stop and I watch. And the fact that he has grown over all these years, and the crazy part is his ability has gotten better over time. He has gotten better. First of all, you never want to take a lariat from this dude. I'm just telling you. Anybody watching? I think he decided to take part of Willie's, part of Trauma's, and just said, okay, I'm going to take 50% of y'all's, and I'm going to take the other 50% of all this stuff I got built up inside of me. And when he lays somebody out with a lariat, again, what you keep asking for this match, Steve. It's not happening. No, I'm getting ready to hit 50. No, I'm trying to see 50. Come on, man. No, I'm not trying to be at leaks talking about, oh, it was such a nice guy. No, what took him out? Was it the cigarettes? No. Was it drugs? No. Was it alcohol?
Lariat.
No, it was a lariat. No, I'm good. I'm good. But you know, he is he's just my guy. You know, again, I don't claim to say, you know, oh, I've had a big hand. You know, kudos of, you know, it is what it is. You know, I see Backwoods as a friend, you know, and I still do it with people today. You know, you can contest with the ARC, Steve. Again, I just try to give back, like I just said earlier. I give back to what people put into me. You know, again, now if I think you're a waste of time and a piece of shit, I guess I'm just gonna say it like it is.
They like it.
You know, I'm not gonna waste my time. I've had people, you know, I try to give them advice and then they, oh, he old, he don't know what he's talking about. Okay, and where are they at now? You know, they hung up their boots years ago, you know. But Backwoods is somebody I can look back and be like, see, I knew I was right, you know. So, brother, from brother to brother, literally and figuratively, inside and outside this ring. I'm proud of you, bro. You're an awesome man. Great worker. You hit too damn hard for me. Wonderful dad. You know, I can keep going down the list, bro. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of you. And
I appreciate that, man.
You know,
that means a lot coming from
you. Know,
from you.
It's funny. He started the show talking about just living the dream, and he's always said that. You know, he just wants to live the dream, and it's like he's doing it. You know, we all are in some shape, form, or fashion. But you know, this is a business where sometimes it chews you up and spits you out. And then sometimes you just not, you're not cut for this. You know, you not, you know, it's funny. He brought up that one practice, and that one practice is the practice where I had to, I pretty much, I ain't gonna say I got him fired from Windy City, but you know, you in practice, you can't drink a 12 pack of Modelo's, and we trying to run practice, you know.
Yeah.
And you're drinking Modelo's during practice, you know, and it's like, you know, I've always had that you know, even now I can look at somebody, you know, and be like, uh, maybe you should stick to your day job at Popeyes. You know, I'm just being honest, you know.
But it's the truth, man. You know, it's weird being in that old guy or that veteran position nowadays, where younger guys come and look to me and ask me for advice, because I still look at myself as that young kid asking, you know, everybody else, you know, for advice. You know, the guys that I watched on Windy City and made me want to be a wrestler even more. So now being in that position myself, where guys are sending me promos or sitting there for some shows and having an agent and help the young guys put their matches together, and, you know, telling them, well, that idea is real cool, but why are you doing it? And then you get those kids that they give you that look like, what do you mean, why am I doing it? It looks cool. Okay, but why?
What's the purpose?
Why are you doing it? How is this advancing the story? You know, psychology-wise, what is this cool move? What is it doing? You know, guys nowadays are so quick and adjusted to just working for the quick pop. Cool, you got to pop, but are the people that watch that match going to remember what happened at the end? Are they going to remember the story that you were telling? Or are they just going, oh, that was real cool what you did? You know, it's like that's my biggest thing, man. Everything has to make sense and has to have a reason for you to do it. You just don't go out there and do stuff for the sake of doing it because it looks cool. Yeah, I can do cool shit, but it doesn't fit my character and doesn't fit the story I'm trying to tell. I can get more out of, you know, a forearm or a choke or a subtle face to the crowd than you can by doing a Canadian destroyer. You know,
well, a lot of times they don't see that, you know, and those are the ones that I'm like, how about you join Steve in commentary? Just sit over there for a while.
Completely minimalized as usual.
No, I'm just saying that again, in ring, maybe not, because here's the thing, we all want to be part of this business, but you have to know your niche, and some people aren't cut to be in front of the crowd.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, you've been around long enough. You've been in front of the crowd. You've worked commentating. You've done everything except, I guess you've even managed. So you understand that there are different levels to different roles. And sometimes people just have to figure out
what the role is.
I'm not, like, let's be honest. Again, I started out as a wrestler. That's how I started. But then when I realized that my biggest asset was these two lips, and I didn't have to get in the ring with people like Backwoods, I could just talk and make the crowd hate me or love me. Oh man, that's an easy payday. Cause I can talk about you all day long. And I ain't got
to take a bump.
Right, until I got to take a bump.
I learned very early when I got to do some in-ring stuff that my lane was not in-ring stuff. After getting my ass kicked by Mitch Blake and bleeding all over the place, I knew that pretty much cured me from any desire to. And there's something to be said about a back chop. It's a very unpleasant thing. I think it's unpleasant to watch, but to actually experience it, it was not great. And I'll stand behind the microphone every day.
You don't back chop me. I'm gonna shoot you. You give me a back chop.
I'm not.
No, he ain't. That's a lie.
Because
Marche did it before. He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing.
Oh,
he didn't do nothing.
Nope. Marche ain't never gave me a back chop.
Yes, he did. In the battle royal.
I still have Marche
chops to the chest, but ain't no back chop.
We got you in the battle royal. We got you in one of them Vanguard battle royals.
Wait, is that the same? Is that the same one where you spit the Kool-Aid in my face?
Yeah.
And then hit you in the nuts.
You dirty dog, you dirty dog.
Always ends the same. Backwoods, I didn't get a chance to know you as well as I would have liked to, because I was new at GPW. I was doing, ancillary stuff. I was greeting people. I was doing commentary with Steve Kenton. And then I very early in the general manager position. So while you were there, what I always appreciated as someone that was new to the company was whenever I saw you, whenever you'd come to the show, you were always smiling. You were always saying hello to everybody. And even me, who you didn't know from Adam, you made it a point to come up to me and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Yeah, and we engage in small conversations. I always thought that took a lot of class, and it was something that I took as knowledge. So when I would go to other places to work, I would make it a point to go around and say hello to everybody because of what you taught me. You didn't know you taught me, but you taught me to, go and be magnanimous and smile and be glad to be there and appreciate the moment. So as a man that is, entering his 8th year in this business, coming into it late, that is a lesson that I learned from you that I will always appreciate.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Steven. That's just an old school thing that I learned. A lot of guys don't do it anymore nowadays, but I've always just felt like, man, we're all in the same boat together. It's not hard to walk around and say hi to who doesn't, who wants to purposely be a dick, like we're all there for the same goal, for the same purpose, to have fun, entertain the crowd, and get home safe. So, it takes 2 seconds to shake somebody's hand or give them a hug and just be a person, not be a character, not be this larger than life individual, but just to be a person. Hey man, what's up? How you doing, brother? And I give everybody the same respect that I want to be given. I treat everybody the same unless you give me a reason not to.
And you never know what a gesture like that can have an impact on somebody that's just starting out. So as Red taught you, you taught me. It's a big circle. It's a pay it forward situation.
Absolutely, man.
Put good energy out there. Energy is going to find its way back to you. And
100%.
That's the best part of wrestling. You hear people talking about all the shady and all the crappy things that go along with this business, but there is something special about the chemistry and the way it can feel. And I think that that's something that people should gravitate to and hold on to, because I think it's going away and it shouldn't be.
I fully agree.
So now,
oh, Steve, that's so nice.
Oh, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up, or I'm going to give you a nut shot. Anyway, we've got to the point.
Again, you got to catch me too. I ain't worried about you. I ain't worried about you.
Done. Easier said than done for sure. We've gotten to the point of the show where we will do this little segment. It's called Rapid Fire. And I'm going to name some people in this industry, and you're going to tell me whether you want to tell me nice things or you want to shoot on them. That's up to you. So the first name I have to do, because I want to talk about the damn door, and that's Tommy Maddox of the Rage. Let's flash back to GPW, and the door shot heard round the planet. On commentary, Steve Kenton and I are describing the action, and Steve's like, they're going to that door. They're going to that door. I'm like, what are they going to do with the door? And all of a sudden, Tommy Maddox spears back, or was it you that speared Tommy?
No, he speared me. He speared me.
So Backwoods is up against this big steel plated door. This was not just it's not a prop door. This is a legitimate door they used to keep things protected. And Tommy hits Backwoods, and Backwoods explodes backwards. And this door says, ah, like the door was afraid. And it exploded backwards, and they were engulfed by this room. And children that were sitting there because of the sonic boom and the percussion that happened because of this door exploding started to cry, and parents are explaining, no, they're going to be okay. We're on commentary, Ken's trying to describe it, and I'm laughing at the reaction of the kids because it was such a genuine moment. I've been commentating and watching wrestling matches my whole life. I've been in the business 8 years, and I have never seen anything like that has brought out that kind of passionate response. It was like the crowd went silent and then went, whoa! It was incredible.
Well, Tommy's a good dude. I love Tommy. Good, good buddy to drink with. Good dude with a good heart. That's how you win me over, man. If you can sit there and drink and throw them back with me and keep up toe to toe, you get mad props in my book. That night in particular, Tommy and I have been dying to work together for a long time, just because we hadn't, we were hoping to do it in a tag team or just some way we could do it. And we got put in a singles, and we were like, oh, great. It'll be a fun time. And then we find out we got 6 minutes, and we both look at each other, and we were like second on the card, and we were like, let's give them something to remember in these 6 minutes. And that match was fast paced. I mean, super kicks. He hooked me for a Rana. I went through the ropes. We did all kind of crazy fast stuff, best we could, because it was like, well, this might be the only chance we get to do it. Let's just go out there and have some fun. And, that gives me a chance in those type of situations to show people like, I can do whatever you want to do in the ring, man. I don't just have to do the typical big guy stuff. If you want to move and you want to work, we can do it, man. I got a motor and I can go. So we're putting this match together, and we're sitting there and we're looking. We're like, those are doors over there. What if we bit bop bop, do this, do that, boom? Somehow we get outside, set it up. I go for something, you reverse. I put my back to the door. You give me a spear through the door. We're like, great. So earlier in the day, we go over to the doors and we're looking at them like, man, I don't want to fucking break these doors because I don't want to pay for them. So we asked one of the staff of the building, hey, is there any way we can get these doors unlocked so we can do something with them in the match and we don't want to damage them? So they were like, yeah, sure. Didn't tell anybody at GPW about it. Didn't ask for permission. It's easier to ask for forgiveness, and then instead of asking for permission and being told no. So we go look at the doors, and we gimmick them to have them open, but they were pulled in enough to where they looked like they were completely closed. Because we instantly knew it. I saw it. I already had the visual in my head. The second I hit these doors, they're gonna freaking fly open. So we get to the spot, we're ready, and boom, Tommy spears me, and the doors fling open. This loud sound, and I take the bump, and there's this huge thud, and we're just laying there. And I just turn my head and look at Tommy. I say, "Got him." And that was it. That's all that needed to be done, needed to be said.
You got them all right. You got us on commentary. You got the children in the front row. You got the whole damn building. And I don't think you ever had to say you're sorry, because I think it was one of the high points that night. Moving right along to rapid fire, let's throw out a name we've never thrown out on this show. Let's throw out Braun the Lumberjack.
Braun the Lumberjack, crazy guy with a big heart, but crazy as all out get up. I love the dude. I've had some fun matches with him that most people will probably never see, because they were for Fusion and it was like 5 people in the crowd. But we went out there and had some great matches. Just a sweetheart of a dude. If you're riding with him, he'll do whatever he can to put you in a position to succeed.
That is absolutely perfectly put. Classy individual for sure. You and Jay had many competitions, and one of the matches that I remember was when you fought the Rage, and you mentioned Mitch Blake earlier. Talk about Tommy Maddox and his tag team partner Mitch Blake, the Rage, because I know those were some fun matches.
I love Tommy. Tommy's awesome. Tommy's great. Tommy's fun to work with.
Moving right along, we go to your boy, the man that we love, Jay Cross. Talk a little bit more about the reckless one or the brawler. He's going by a lot of names, but you're the shot caller. So it's the shot caller, the reckless, the brawler, the hellbillies. You guys are taking over.
Best friend, somebody I can depend on, somebody I can count on, somebody that I never have to worry about where their loyalties lie. Somebody that doesn't judge me, somebody that will call me on my bullshit if I need to be called on it, somebody that's just true, somebody that hits incredibly hard, somebody that
ain't you describing yourself though?
No. I'm describing this jerk. So somebody that likes to, every time we have a singles match, somehow there's a picture taken of him choking me with something or me getting beat, and he likes to make them in t-shirts. So it always looks like I'm getting my ass kicked, but he's my brother, ride or die.
If you can't get your ass kicked by your friend and brother, who can you get your ass kicked by? Backwoods, you've got a lot going on. Let's talk about some of your upcoming things. GLCW, you're the champion. You've got Frontline Pro. Tell everybody about what you got coming up and what we can expect in 2021 from you.
Yeah, absolutely. The shot caller, it keeps a busy schedule. This Saturday, I will be in Spencer, Wisconsin at the Spencer's Kid Group with Frontline Pro, the last show before the big Rob Van Dam show. I'm in a 4-way for the #1 contendership for the Frontline Pro World Championship, to be defended by Coda Jacobs, April 3rd at the Rob Van Dam show. It will be myself versus Simply Amazing Justin Dredd, TW3, and Brock Hall. Frontline Pro is a great place to work, a great organization, run by one of my really, really good friends, almost. I won't even say almost, who's definitely a brother, Ben McCoy. He's a great guy, great story. He's a war vet. Frontline Pro is an organization that is every show that is run, part of the proceeds from the show are donated to some charitable organization. So it's a loaded card. I'm on there. Joey the Jet Avalon, Rough Crossing, Vic Capri, Ben McCoy. It's a plethora of top-notch talent. So I will be there Saturday. Next Friday, I will be defending the GLCW Heavyweight Championship with special guest Val Venus on the card. I'll be taking on Joey the Jet Avalon for my coveted GLCW Heavyweight Championship. The following week after that, I will be in Stevens Point, Wisconsin at the Stevens Point Holiday Inn Convention Center for Honor Bound, which is the big Rob Van Dam show where Rob will be wrestling Bulletproof Ben McCoy. We've got Katie Forbes on the show. She'll be tagging with the Fanny Pack Kid, Cal Hero versus Joey Avalon and Sierra. And we got Bill Alfonso.
Oh, Uncle
Bill, going to be at the show also.
Bill.
And 2 weeks after that, I will be at ACW in Oshkosh, organization owned and operated by Hornswoggle from WWE. We just had a show 2 weeks ago for the #1 contendership. For that show, I was in a 4-way ladder match. That show was always big. It's another big show where we've got a lot of special guests coming in. We've got the Boogeyman. We've got Kevin Nash, Tennille Dashwood, Insane Clown Posse. Previous years, we've had anybody you can think of, Ryback, Bret Hart. Those shows are always fun. It's a hard-working locker room with a bunch of guys that, go out there with a diehard fan base that that's one of my favorite places to go wrestle for. And then after that, the schedule just keeps going and going and going, brother.
I'm sure Red is just overjoyed to hear everything you're doing, because you are doing what you said you would be doing at the beginning of the show. You are living the dream. And for those of us that are fans of yours and appreciate what you bring to the table, we're thrilled not only that you've got championship gold, but you're a thriving part of a very good wrestling community. You're well respected, well liked. And we sure appreciate you taking time to talk to us tonight. And we also very much appreciate the stories, because that's why we're all here. Great stories.
Oh man, I appreciate you guys having me on. You know, little taken aback. I had to play second fiddle to some guy called the Ewok, but you know, I'm just saying, you know,
we're booking that match, Ewok versus Backwoods. I want to see it now. Where's John Bullard? Somebody get him on the horn.
Hey, I'll work anywhere as long as they're gonna pay my booking fee.
We know the boss. We'll tap the boss's pockets. Anyways, you know, we did not make you second fiddle, but we wanted to have you on immediately. So we decided instead of having 1 hour, we'd do 2, just because.
Yeah, man. Understand it is past I should have 8 hours ago. And I know I'm slow, but I just got Call of Duty in today. So I mean, dude, I must love you, dude.
I appreciate that, my friend.
You putting my Call of Duty and my chicken. They playing second fiddle right now.
Never come between Red and his chicken. I tried that once, and I'll never do it again.
I know.
He know.
All right,
but bro, I had to again. We've traveled up and down these roads, and again, I'm praying soon. Again, we already talked that, you know, one day again we'll get past these computer screens and hook up and chop it up in person. But again, I had to. Your story is one of the best stories that I know. And because again, like I said, you have a no die attitude. You don't quit. You keep pushing. I know why you keep pushing. Just the rest of the world needs to catch up and know what I know. But again, from the bottom of my heart, you know, always got nothing but love for you, bro. Mad respect. Always here for you. I ain't went nowhere except for yeah. So
hey, you know I love you too, man. We go way back, and you know that doesn't nothing changes over time, man. You know, when you connect and make a bond with somebody, you know, that's forever. You know, my mom, you know, God rest her soul, always, you know, appreciated how you guys, you know, looked after me and took me in, and
that's man, we had no choice. God, you know, rest in peace, Mom. But dude, she was scary. Like, and she would ask, "Is he gonna be okay? You watch my baby." And it's like, do you see how big this baby is? You worry about the other person. Don't worry about him. Hey, I have to ask, where's the brown T-shirt and the brown hat?
Oh man, that the T-shirt, that brown T-shirt is long gone. But I still do have the overalls, just in case I gotta pull them out.
I thought you broke the overalls.
Dude, I've gone through like 3 pair of overalls. The first pair broke when Trauma
I'm talking about the first pair.
No, that pair is long gone. Remember, they exploded when Trauma gave me that spear.
I thought you might have fixed them, but I'm just saying, you know.
No, I still got a pair just in case. I gotta pull them out, you know, a time or two somewhere down the road.
See, Steve never understands the old backwood, see, you're seeing the shot caller. I remember backwoods where he had a tight little fade and he wore a ball cap, you know, and hold on. He bought a bottle of this to the ring with him, you know.
Yes, sir.
And it wasn't no apple juice, you know.
No, I was living a gimmick, just like
it wasn't no apple juice
today.
But it was funny because it's like, dude, you trying to get us kicked out of this building? Would you stop?
And I always say, who gonna tell me no?
It wasn't us. And then the crazy part is, he'd be done with his match. We'd be like, all right, now open that bottle, dog. Before we get on this road, crack that bottle so we can go.
Only on this show do you get stories like exploding overalls. That's terrific.
Yeah. Hey,
thank you.
Don't
so
know
much.
Jay Washington.
To trauma. We love him. Thank you so much for taking time out tonight. I know it's late. I know you got things to do. We're so happy you're successful. You're such a great man, and I've appreciated you from afar for a long time. I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you a little bit tonight. Good luck on Friday. Good luck on Saturday. Good luck the rest of the way. And I hope our paths cross, and I hope I get to call some of your matches again because I think you're a great dude, and I think the wrestling world needs more of you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys again for having me. Definitely hope I can be on again because, I mean, Red and I barely scratched the surface on some of the stories.
Oh, there's going to be a part 2. Oh, don't you think for a second there won't be a part 2. We have just scratched the surface. I can hear and feel behind the scenes that there's infinitely more as it's Red Backwoods.
You just want to hear more stories about embarrassing me. That's all.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
yes, I do very much so.
Yeah, next time we got to tell the story about when Marche gave me a concussion in Wisconsin. Yeah.
Woo! Next time on the Power Hour when Backwoods join us, it's Marche Rocket and concussions. Heck, since Marche Rocket is our guest next week, maybe we'll ask him about concussions.
Oh yeah. Ask Marche about the infamous punt to the head. Yeah.
On behalf of C.Red, I'm Steve Aaron and our guest Backwoods Brown. Thank you for listening to the Power Hour. We had a great time. We hope you did too. And we'll see you next week, folks. Have a great night.